Hello everybody and welcome to another Vintage Cube video. Very good pack to start. There are a few cards that are really good first picks. Both of the black cards are very strong. Thoughtseize is more generically powerful and Entomb is better in Reanimator. There's also Bloodstained Mire, and then there's Treachery and Thalia, which are also first pickable. I think I'm not going to take one of these two. I don't like that there's two great black cards in the same pack, because if we take the Entomb, someone pretty close to our left is likely to take Thoughtseize and cut black. But with that being said, this card is so strong that I think I'm still going to take it. Reanimator, the best Reanimator decks are among the best decks in the format, and Entomb is the best card in those decks. So, a lot of best potential here. We'll go for it. Again, very painful to pass Thoughtseize when we take Entomb, but Entomb into Exhume is one of the better starts you could have. Snuff Out's decent. Agent of Treachery is a pretty good reanimation target. Not the best, but solid. And we would definitely play Consider as well. I think blue-black Reanimator with blue card draw is good, and Consider having the additional synergy of occasionally milling over one of your big boys is nice upside, but easy Exhume here. That's great. Okay. This pack is not great for us. There is Volcanic Island. Grixis is a color combination you could do. Getting access to red for Faithless Looting and blue for all the good blue stuff is a nice place to be. We could take a mediocre reanimation target. Or we could take Mesmeric Fiend if we want to cut black. This card is not super exciting, but it is, it's disruptive. It can clear the path for your reanimation stuff. And if we end up on Recurring Nightmare, then this has some additional value. I think I will take that here. I would take a black-red or a blue-black land over Mesmeric Fiend, but blue-red is just a little bit too far off of what we're doing right now. And I do like cutting black. Okay, Shallow Grave, not bad. We could take Sneak Attack, which does go with this plan. There's a lot of cards that work well with both. But we just want to take the reanimation card here. Yeah, good pickup. Now that we have Entomb Shallow Grave, we could take Emrakul, which is kind of nice. Or we could just take Griselbrand. I mean, I'd still probably take Griselbrand over Emrakul here. In fact, Griselbrand might be the best single card we could get. It's between Griselbrand and Reanimator, or Reanimate, the 1-mana card. And then finally, the other best card we could get would be Thoughtseize, unfortunately, but that's not going to happen. Okay, so we have a pretty strong black card, but it's not particularly synergistic with what we have right now. It does play well if we get Griselbrand, and we could be some sort of mono-black Griselbrand Storm deck, it's reasonable. There's also two pretty mediocre reanimation targets, Lotus Bloom. I think we should take a Probe here. It's not the best, but it helps add consistency, just reducing our deck size, essentially. And Probe can also help us to inform our Entomb decision. If we have Exhume, Entomb, and Probe in our opener, we can look at their hand and determine which one of our big boys is most well-suited to take him down. Yeah, we'll take a Probe. That's a solid pickup. Okay, Vampiric Tutor is excellent. This is not a card you really want to play in fair decks. It is card disadvantage. Your spending mana does not impact the board. You're losing life. But in a deck where you have one card that's super, super good and important, then that Vampiric Tutor just essentially gives us 2 copies of Entomb. Ooh, okay. Una's Prowler versus Shriekmaw. Shriekmaw is a better, just normal card, but I think I'm going to take the Prowler here. Go very all in on the Reanimator shenanigans. Entomb is a way to put a big boy into the graveyard, and Vampiric Tutor for Entomb is another way. But Una's Prowler is the third half of this part of the combo. I do like Shriekmaw, but it's just, there's a lot of removal. I'm not as worried about removal as I am about enablers. So I'll take this. Now we see Custody Lich, which is pretty good. There's also Suspicious Stowaway, which is really good if we play blue. It's a strong enabler, but I think we're just going to be mono black here and have a good mana base. Black looks like it should be open enough for that. And Custody Lich is very strong. You can even reanimate this. I mean, turn 1 Entomb, turn 2, or turn 2 Una's Prowler, turn 3, discard this, and then bring it back. Can totally win the game. Wow. Was not expecting to see Bloodstained Mire Wheel, but I'm pretty happy about it. We'll take that. It may or may not end up helping us. We could still splash blue or red, of course, and then this will be good. It's also a card in the graveyard if we end up playing like Woe Strider or have anything that cares about lots of cards in the graveyard. Okay, taking Snuff out here makes me feel better about passing the Shriekmaw. This card's great. Get the Terracodon on the wheel. This is like a tier 3 big boy to bring back, but it is good to have access. Like, my general philosophy of reanimation creatures, there's the type that can just kill the opponent quickly. So, like, 10-minute Ulamog, and it basically kills them in one swing. Like, Grave Titan is an example of this, just put tons of power onto the board. The second category is ones that disrupt their mana. So it's Sundering Titan, Terastodon, like Woodfall Primus. And then the third category is ones that draw more cards. So like Consecrated Sphinx, Grizzlebrand. Some are, of course, both. Like Archon does multiple things there. Take Boseiju and not play it. Kagla. Oh, I get and then the other category. Yeah, so there's the ones that hit their lands, and then there's also the ones that hit their creatures. So Kagla is a way to kill their creatures. I do like having. This isn't quite as good as like the 7-mana Elesh Norn, or I think Massacre Worm is no longer in the format, but Massacre Worm was a good one of those. Like this kind that makes it so that their creatures are invalidated, but these guys are playable. If we get no others, we can reanimate these, and if we're doing the reanimation thing quickly enough, that should be fine. Alright, bummer of a pack here. We get nothing. There's Sulphurous Springs if we want to splash red. We're not a Yawgmoth deck. This pack is unbelievably weak for us. Graveyard Trespasser is not good. I think we do just take the Sulphurous Springs. Pretty brutal, though. Now we see a good pack. Oh, okay, yeah. Demonic Tutor, that's definitely the pick. Duress is strong. Hopefully this one comes around, but Tutor gives us even more consistency. There's also Badlands, but we don't even have the Faithless Looting yet, so like if I would take Duress over Badlands, but if both of these two black cards were gone, I would take the Badlands over, like, I don't even know what else would be an option, but yeah, we'll take the Tutor. Okay, I think we take a Mana Vault now. City of Traders does a kind of similar thing, but Mana Vault does it better. This means we can just hardcast Custodial Lich on turn 2, and it also lets us accelerate quickly. There is the Faithless Looting, actually. That's kind of interesting. Looting would be very, very good in this deck, but I don't want to wreck the mana base too much. Well, how good is Mana Vault? Maybe we do speculate on the looting. You know what? I'm gonna do this. Looting will be our second best card after Entomb if we can cast it. Okay, well, Reanimate. That's pretty amazing. A lot of red stuff here. Dreadbore would be good if we're black-red, but easy Reanimate. That's amazing. Yeah, we are seeing lots of red. Like Kolagon's Command would be great, among other things. We could even target ourselves with this to discard a card. There's also Lotus Petal and Iona. And I think I like taking the Iona, actually. This is a much, much better reanimation target than these. And it's the kind of card that's not good against every deck, but against a lot of decks, it's the best by far. I mean, mono red, mono white, mono blue artifacts, mono green are like 4 very common decks, and this card just single-handedly wins. And with Entomb plus multiple tutors, we can basically always be choosing which thing we're discarding, rather than just like having Putrid Imp and discarding whatever is, and reanimating whatever is in your hand. So I think I like the Iona slightly more there. It is definitely better than both these two. Okay, so Rotting Regisaur is a mediocre reanimation enabler. Like, Entomb for Echo Eons is kind of cute, but that's not really what we're doing. We'll take the Regi. Very, very strong start. I would still like to get a Grizzlebrand and an Archon of Cruelty. Our reanimation targets are, you know, this is like D tier, this is C tier, this is A tier. I think your ideal suite, you have Grizzlebrand, Archon of Cruelty, Iona, and Sundering Titan as your 4 things to bring back. And then you can choose which one you want based on the situation. Actually, maybe Atraxa's in there too now. Atraxa would be very good. But neither of these two are in there. This is like much worse than Terastodon, and this is much worse than like everything. In fact, I'm just going to cut this. We're not going to play that card. Well, there's the Seasoned Pyromancer. If we're playing red, that's good, but I'll take a Necromancy. This deck is very, very strong. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 reanimation cards already, and we're not even done with pack 2. Shallow Grave may or may not get there. It's not very good with either of these. The problem with Terastodon is you Shallow Grave it back, blow up all their lands, and hit them for 9, but then you exile your Terastodon and they just kill you with the elephants. And then it, of course, does not work with Iona. That just hits them for 7. This does work with Grizzlebrand, Archon, and Sundering Titan. It works with all of the 4 that I mentioned earlier. Grizzlebrand, Archon, Sundering Titan, and Atraxa. So getting any of those would be good. Probably not going to be playing Looting, honestly, which means I'm a little sad we didn't get the Mana Vault, but not that sad. I guess I'll actually keep this out, though, just to remind ourselves that red lands could help. Okay, these lands do not help. I don't think we're going to be splashing green. Yeah, we'll take Infernal Grasp for the board. We want a few removal spells. I like Snuff Out a lot more than Infernal Grasp, especially in a deck like this. But like in certain matchups, we'll want to side in all the removal that we can, essentially. Alright, not much for us here. We're still not playing green. We're not playing Yawgmoth. I think we take Graveyard Trespasser as a sideboard card for the Reanimator Mirror. It's also fine against aggressive decks. Does gain a little bit of life, and it's a 3/3 body that is resilient to removal. Okay, very interesting pick. Badlands would be good. Faithless Looting, I would rather play Faithless Looting than Duress, but I think we still just take the Duress and just like fully commit to being mono black. We'll have perfect mana. Like, I don't want to splash Faithless Looting off of this and like 2 basic mountains and just hope it works. And Duress is a premium card. I would take Badlands over something bad, but Duress is a really, really strong addition to this deck. But now I will officially put the kibosh on those. Now I'll take Nurturing Peatland, which is actually a good upgrade. We're not splashing green, but this helps the deck against Mana Flood. Do we want more Flood Insurance, Bolus's Citadel, or Cabal Ritual? I think more Flood Insurance. Cabal Ritual can help us to be a little bit faster, but we're already going to be pretty fast. I think I'd rather just have more consistency. Not playing any of these cards. Not playing Braids, sorry. And Pyretic Ritual. Okay, so 16 spells that are very good. The things we want. Better reanimation targets, ideally 2 of them. Animate Dead. Unfortunately, Thoughtseize is gone, but Inquisition would be good. Grief would be good. Any fast mana we could take. Black Lotus would be the best. Mox Jet would be the second best. Any other fast mana would be good, including like Chrome Mox. Okay, there's Watery Grave if we want to splash. Mirror Battlesphere is a decent reanimation target. And then there's Imperial Seal. I think we just take the Seal. Could be a little bit greedy. Mirror Battlesphere would be a solid upgrade. But I really want to have a ton of consistency. Okay, there we go. That is what we needed. Grizzlebrand. We're going to try and wheel that and take the... No, we're taking Grizzlebrand. Murderous Rider would be an okay wheel, but very, very happy to see that. It is worth noting we have a lot of things that lose life. Snuff Out, a couple Pain Lands, Probe. So, Grizzlebrand, the life loss could be relevant in some situations. Alright, I think we take Putrid Imp here over Voidwalker. Voidwalker is a little bit more likely to wheel. It is a good card. It's not really synergistic with what we're doing, but it is very good. But it's also more likely to come around. Well, they're both actually very likely to come around. But I'm going to take the Imp. This is double black. I don't think a lot of players are going to be playing double black here. And Putrid Imp is just more of a combo piece in a deck that's very in on comboing. So, Animate Dead is probably the best thing we could get now. Just want to have a critical mass of reanimation cards. Again, right now we have 4, but Shallow Grave only partially counts. Okay, there's Atraxa and Animate Dead in the same pack. Oh my gosh. These two are kind of funny. They're very similar. Atraxa's like way better though. I think I'm gonna take the Animate Dead. It might come around. Obviously no one else is playing Reanimator, but this is it's a kind of card that you can splash in a control deck. Something like Putrid Imp is definitely gonna wheel. That's only good in very specific Reanimator decks, but Animate Dead is good. It is like just a good card in any deck that's playing black. And Atraxa is great. If we don't get any more reanimation targets, I'll be kind of sad, but we already have 3 good ones. Yeah, I think we just gotta take the Animate Dead here and make sure we get it. Okay, there's Inquisition. I'm going to keep being greedy and passing decent reanimation targets. You see, there are just so many. Like, Inkwell Leviathan's not elite, but there's so many that get the job done. So we'll just take the early interaction. Cabal Therapy, Bloodchief's Thirst. We don't have that many creatures for Cabal Therapy. Yeah, I think we just take the Thirst here. Good, cheap removal spell. Collective Brutality, also very good. Also Ashen Rider. I think I'm going to take the Brutality, though. It's interaction. It can discard, make them... It's like a Thoughtseize that also can make you discard your cards and kill creatures. There's the Blood Crypt, but we're off the red splash here. I don't think we have any need for Bloodstained Mire. Vampire Hexmage is interesting. We just passed Dark Depths, but we wouldn't even really want Dark Depths in this deck. I think we'd take the Bone Shards as another discard enabler. And now we can cut the Bloodchief's Thirst, and we get the Mirror Battlesphere. Nice. Now we'll take a Fiend Artisan and not play it. Could hate draft the Containment Priest, but that's not how these draft formats work. Blightsteel Colossus, unfortunately, does not work with any of these things because it shuffles in. And it's not even a trigger. Like, with Emrakul, you can respond to the trigger. But with Blightsteel, it just, like, never even touches the graveyard. So it's totally impossible to reanimate. This is an absurdly good reanimation deck. It has no fast mana, but other than that, it has pretty much every single thing you want. Really low curve. Lots of cheap interaction. And it's still possible we wield the Atraxa. But this does kind of check all the bases. The thing that kills lands, the thing that stops their spells, things that draw cards, and things that just adds to the board. We don't have something that deals with creatures well, but that's fine. Oh my gosh, we get the Atraxa. That is beautiful. Batterskull for the board. I think we cut Mirror Battlesphere now. Atraxa is just almost always going to be better than Battlesphere. Yeah. This deck is absurd. I cannot wait to see how this performs. We're going to play 14 basic swamps and be happy. The Magic Online land adder always kind of freaks out when you play Reanimator. They're like, what? You're playing triple white? But this mana base is pretty easy to construct. Just go back through quickly. Yeah, I think this is exactly how we want to run it. We have 2 cheap creatures as discard outlets. We have Entomb. We have 3 tutors, Vampiric Tutor, Demonic Tutor, and Imperial Seal. And then we have 5 reanimation spells. For removal, we have Snuff Out and Bone Shards. Do we want the Regisaur? It's a little bit clunky. Don't really want a 3-drop. Kind of like just playing Bloodchief's Thirst. Getting a little bit more cheap interaction. Yeah, we'll do it like this. And this is a land that could technically play 15 lands. But with 2 lands that sacrifice, I'm less worried about Mana Flood, so we'll do it like this. And this is the dream deck. Like, no Thoughtseize, no Archon. It's not literally perfect, but it's pretty damn good, and I will be shocked if we don't trophy. See you in round 1. Alright, here we are for round 1. We're on the play with our broken Reanimator deck. And yeah, we can keep this. If we find Entomb or any of our 3 tutors, we can put something into play on turn 4. If we top deck one of our 4 big things, we can also put something into play on turn 3. So we have 8 draws that make this hand broken. We also have a redraw and multiple pieces of interaction. So even though this hand can't combo yet, it's very strong. I'm going to probe first and see if we want to duress on turn 1. Yeah, I will duress and just take out this, well, yeah, let's just take the iteration. We're going to kill the Stoneforge Mystic, so I'm not worried about the Kaldra. Good to know about the Kiki combo. Alright, too bad to draw a brick there. Pass back. They don't even have the white source in their initial hand. They have had 2 draws, though. They did not get there. Third Path Iconoclast. Okay. So we're just going to kill that. Question is, which one do we want to use to kill it? Oh. Well, that's a plan. Let's go Bone Shards, discarding Iona. Animate Dead Iona. And I'm going to name white here. Because white, well, blue could give them answers too. I'm going to name blue so they have blue mana. Basically, the things that beat this are bounce spells or exile spells. They don't have either in their hand right now. This shuts down more of their deck and the cards that they have access to now, potentially. And then we just kill them in 3 turns with Brutality. I'm not going to collect a Brutality yet. They almost have Kiki Jiki mana now. Okay, Chandra's not a problem. Red Elemental Blast, not too good in this matchup. Alright, let's Inquisition them. Ancestral Recall, nice. So I'll take Stoneforge Mystic, attack them, and then kill them next turn, and if they don't top deck something. I guess if they top deck a Bolt, they can kill Iono. So there's an argument to killing Chandra to play around that, but I think it's still better just to put them on a 1-turn clock and just not mess around. Everflowing Chalice, that's fine. So pretty solid win against Jeskai Twin game 1. We don't really have anything in the board for this matchup. So you lose 2 life and we gain 2 life. And then we'll hit you for 6. So Snuff Out is a good way to break up the combo at instant speed. I think we might want to bring in the other instant speed removal spell, which is Infernal Grasp. I think we might just cut Lich. That's just not really part of our game plan here. None of this stuff seems super good. Rotting Regisaur is big, but I think it's not worth it. Yeah, let's just run it back. This deck is so strong. We just had so many different draws that would make that hand broken while we're interacting as quickly as turn 1. That's why I like Reanimator better than a lot of other combo decks. First of all, there's tons of redundancy for it. So if you're going for like Storm, there's just not, well, maybe Storm's sort of a different case, but like blue-red sneak attack, there's not as nearly as much redundancy, and then you can also interact much more easily while you're doing your thing. Okay, I'm going to keep this hand. Once again, we have the same 8 draws that make this hand great, either of our 4 big things or our Entomb or our 3 tutors, and we have 2 interactive spells. Ooh, Ragavan. We cannot kill that until turn 2, so they are going to get a hit unless we top deck one of our 2 removal spells that would deal with it. Okay. Well, now we can just go turn 2, kill your Ragavan, Durasyu, and then turn 3, Grizzlebrand. Hopefully they don't have a counterspell. Although even if they do, it's fine. They just exile Swamp. Okay, Probe's not a bad draw here. We can make sure that the coast is clear for the Brutality. So they're holding Ancestral Recall and then a bunch of burn. Good to know about this burn. So we'll go land, Brutality. And I think I'm actually going to use all 3 modes here. We'll discard Grizzlebrand, land. Now in response, they'll probably Ancestral. And now, of course, when we play Exhume, they're going to get back their Ragavan, but I think that will be okay. So Ancestral in response, then we get to look at their new hand and take their Tinker, probably. Yeah, we'll take Tinker. Okay, Metamorph is good to know about. So, I guess we could have also gone for the burn spells and tried to play Mesmeric Fiend to get them. Are they just going to burn our face? That is not a good play. So they play their Stoneforge, and now we need to decide how to proceed. We could either just Exhume immediately or play Mesmeric Fiend first to try and mess them up. I think we just want to exhume, though. Infernal Grasp, interesting. We can... Yeah, I think we just exhume and then kill their Grizzlebrand. And let's just play land first to play around Daze, just in case. It's very unfortunate that we don't have any fast mana. I will pay life once. I don't want to go much lower than this, but I'll pay life once. Okay, Duress, good. We can take their Cauldra. Yep. Then we'll go to discard and pitch Iona. Why do they keep in a red Elemental Blast? That is weird. So next turn we can Shallow Grave to bring back whatever we want. Probably, I mean, Atraxa. It doesn't matter too much. Are they just going to burn our face down to 6? Okay. I guess they could red Elemental Blast to counter our Probe if that's what they're worried about. So if they attack with both, we block. They still can't Fury us. They can Metamorph, copy Grizzlebrand, and draw 7. But then we can almost definitely kill them on our turn. Although we can't quite... We can't Shallow Grave right now. Or, well, okay, we could Shallow Grave Iona. Yeah, actually we should be able to win pretty easily from here. The only way that they could come back is if they have any really weird stuff like land, Mox, Time Walk, untap, Grizzlebrand, shenanigans. Okay, so what is the safest way to do this? We can Mesmeric Fiend to take a look at their hand. Yeah, I think we want to Mesmeric Fiend first to play around Force of Will or Force of Negation. They do have the Force of Negation, so it's a good thing we did this. They don't have an instant speed remove. If they'd saved a burn spell, they could have potentially won this. But we'll take Force of Negation. Then Infernal Grasp this. Going to 4. Sideboard card putting in work. And then that's just game on board. Or we know their hand, so we know they don't have anything. But yeah, not a good play to run out these bolts. I guess they didn't know about the Mesmeric Fiend. So it's not, it's like defensible. It's not objectively wrong, but I think it's still not quite the right move. And obviously it did not pay off for them here. So we hit them down to exactly 0. Solid turn 4 win with lots of interaction. Yeah, we played 2 kill spells, 2 discard spells, and then killed them on turn 4. See you in round 2. Alright, on the play here against Frank E.G. MTG. Interesting hand, and a really good hand. We'll keep, and we can put Atraxa into play on turn 2. I think that's probably better than Grizzlebrand since we're already going to be paying lots of life. This is a situation where Archon would be nice. Also, depending on what they do, we could even go for... like, if they play Forest Drog or Tree Speaker, I'll just go Iona on green. Okay, definitely not against the Vitriome. We have Vampiric Tutor for Entomb. This is why I love Vampiric Tutor in this deck. Then we'll go Land, Entomb, and let's take Atraxa. Reanimated Atraxa, going down to 11, but then we have a 7/7 with Flying, Lifelink, Vigilance, and Death Touch in play, and we get to draw a decent number of cards. So we'll take... Actually, it's not as many as I was hoping for, but Swamp, Necromancy, Iona, and Demonic Tutor. So we get 4 cards. Not bad for turn 2, and we should be able to put... oh no, we can't quite reanimate again on turn 3, but we can do some good work. Shallow grave. Okay, let's go land. Swing for 7. And then I think I'm just going to play... it's Mesmeric Fiend, Una's Prowler. There's a few different options. I think I'm just going to Mesmeric Fiend them, honestly. Take a look at their hand. If we had Thoughtseize, I would just Demonic Tutor for Thoughtseize. But this is the only card that we can play that can take a look at any of their cards. Okay, let's just shake the Lightning Bolt, because otherwise they can just bolt this end of turn and then have their whole hand available. So they can Deceiver Exarch, they drew Swamp, and then now they can Swift End this. But then we can just bring it back again. We want to draw a land here. Duress, also a good draw. Exarch to tap, okay. This is fine. So now we can... So we know this is their hand, or we don't know their last card. We could Demonic Tutor for Inquisition to take out the Swift End. Oh no, yeah, we do know their entire hand. Or we could try to set up to put Iona into play. I think I'm going to let them kill this if they want to. We'll just Duress to take their Chain Lightning. I guess we do open it, like if they just rip the thing off the top, we do lose. I think that's really unlikely. There's one draw in the entire format that could do it here. The way we would defend against that is playing Demonic Tutor for Snuff Out, but that feels too conservative. There's the island, and then they presumably just go for Swift End killing Atraxa. Are you serious? Did they actually top deck the Splinter Twin? Kind of looked like it from the way they were tapping. Avalanche Riders, okay. Not quite as broken. They're just going to take a hit from the Atraxa, but then they just die in the air. So this is game. This is not a smart line. They should definitely just be killing our Atraxa. Yeah, there's just no reason to let us keep this in play. Play land. We'll discard Iona. We will Shallow Grave Iona. And then hit them for 14 in the air. Alright, yeah, again, just bad line. You should not go for Avalanche Riders there. So they're playing Grixis Twin. The Scarab God is pretty good against us. They do have some removal spells. I think once again we want to bring in the instant speed. Yeah, back-to-back Twin decks is kind of weird, but we'll bring in our instant speed removal, cut the Lich. I think Probe is still good. Iona might be a little bit bad. Like, I guess we could name Black, but they could still combo kill us. But it plays better when we have discard spells so that we know what's actually in their hand. So I think I will keep this over bringing in the Myr Battlesphere, although it's kind of close. So we'll submit like this. This hand has a lot of interaction, but I think it's a mulligan. Yeah, let's ship this. It's not that close to comboing. This hand is much closer to combo, and we will keep and put back... I think just Una's Prowler. Or maybe Atraxa. Yeah, I'll put back Atraxa, and then our goal is that we are likely going to just Entomb for Atraxa off of the Vampiric Tutor. That's bad. They have a reanimate of their own. That's kind of funny. Okay. Terracodon is gone. That's fine. Let's vamp for Entomb. And we'll tap and play Una's Prowler since we can't combo kill them this turn anyways. And if they want to use their Swift End to kill our Una's Prowler, that's fine. And this blocks Ragavan pretty well. Sometimes you can discard a card to make this smaller, but in this case, all we need is a 1/1. So they would have to discard 2 cards to get in with Ragavan. I don't think they're going to want to do that. Prismatic Vista. So this is their hand, and then they have 1 unknown. I think we want to upkeep Entomb here so that we don't draw the card that we need. Okay, this is fine. And then do we take Atraxa again? I think we do. Exiling Bone Shard, that's fine. I wish this is another situation where Archon would probably be better, but Atraxa's still good. But at least on their hand, they don't have a way to kill our Atraxa. If they do kill it, then they reanimate it. We're in pretty bad shape. But they have only 1 card that's unknown, and there's not that many cards that effectively kill a 7/7 with flying. Looks like you're going to reanimate the Una's Prowler and just try to get aggressive. Don't hate that line for them, but I don't think it's going to work here. The thing that's doubly sketchy about that is that we can... Oh, they kill their own thing? Okay. This line is not as cool as you think it is. I mean, they can put the Scarab God into play, but the Scarab God will just... I guess the Scarab God could maybe beat what we're doing. Do we still get Atraxa? There's an argument for... We don't want to get the Iona because they can use the Scarab God to make things. Yeah, I think Atraxa is better than Griselbrand. It's possible that... another good draw. It's possible that the Exiled Terracodon would be better than either, but it seems fine. So let's Animate Dead, bring back Atraxa, which still kills them in 2 swings. I like that we have Animate and Necromancy as ways to make Atraxa better, although in this case we don't have any more enchantments. So we'll take just a basic Shallow Grave, Reanimate, Griselbrand. Instant sorcery, creature land. Oh, whoops. I guess I failed when I tried to click the Griselbrand. Should be fine, but that is a little bit unfortunate. This hand has lots of ways to reanimate things, that is for sure. The interface for Atraxa is not very good. I don't like that they're all in 1 column still, and it's just like this little green shading around the edge, and then sometimes it's hard to see which card is even it's applying to. They should just put the card that you select in a separate pile. So we'll take our draw step. Best case scenario would be, well, Demonic Tutor means we can find whatever the best case scenario is. Let's start by attacking for 6. Oh. Okay, that's kind of annoying. So they tap our thing, fair enough. Let's Demonic Tutor. So we don't know what their last card is. We can find the kill spell here. Yeah, just get Infernal Grasp. And then our plan is to... Wait, do we have... No, I wish we could snuff out this this Scarab God. But our plan is to take Infernal Grasp. And then we can break up the combo if they go for the combo. And if they don't go for the combo, what we're going to do is... end of turn, kill the Scarab God, and then we can reanimate their Scarab God. They just make a 4/4 Ragavan. That's totally irrelevant. We do still die to a top decked Red Source into Splinter Twin. But no Red Source there, so I think we just win. They hit us for 6. Our life total is going to get low, but then we're going to gain 6 life. So it's going to return at the end at our end step, but that's fine. We go land, we go Necromancy. Your Scarab God is mine. Then we'll hit them for 6. And we can beat almost anything here. I think I'm just going to fire off... No, we'll hold Shallow Grave as an instant speed way to bring back the Una's Prowler if we need it. Because the scary thing here is Zealous Conscripts off the top. Steal Atraxa. And then we can just bring back our Chump Blocker at instant speed. They did top deck the land. Do they have the untapped red source into... they get a black source. Okay. Untapped red source into Splinter Twin is what we were afraid of. They play Thief of Sanity. Okay, I guess that does technically keep them alive for a turn if we don't top deck anything. We'll draw. The rest, not great here. So we'll just hit them in the air with this and pass. I guess we might... I think I'll put a Thief of Sanity into play on our side of the board. Just to pressure them from even more angles. And our life total is totally out of range now. And we pass, and again, we still have Shallow Grave up to Chump Block if they do any Zealous Conscript shenanigans. I think this should be game. Atraxa is very good. Bone Shards to kill Atraxa. That is not going to work, my friend, although I appreciate their continued efforts. We still have the Shallow Grave. Might as well get another Atraxa trigger while we're at it. We just have so many reanimation spells. It's awesome. Opponent's impressed with our deck, as am I. Alright, smooth start. We're yet to drop a game. Let's keep that going in the finals. And that would be 18th trophy, which would put us like here, half on the leaderboard. Maybe even worse than not being on it. We really need one more to actually be on the leaderboard, but I'll take it. 18 would still be a nice number. See you in the finals. Alright, here we are for the finals. Our sweet mono black deck that is on the play, but also on a mulligan. This hand is great. Well, it's a keep. It's not great. Looks like we're playing against a fan.